Alrighty guys, so it's deck profile time. Most of my extra deck is bullshit. I'm telling you that before I even get there. I've been playing pretty much the same list. I don't think too many things have variated from my last profile, but I do feel like certain things are changing heading into what the new meta is going to be with Despia, the Fallen Albaz stuff, and so on and so forth. So that's enough of me talking. And the deck will change again from that. For right now, this is what I'm playing, and let's get underway. 3, Rabina. Obviously, you guys know he's the searcher for everybody in the government drone secretly. 3, Eaglin. It's a joke, guys. With 3, Eaglin, you're obviously searching for the level 7s and the big tributes. And then you're just going from there. I see a lot of people trying out different tributes, whether that be the Samorg one or there's another one, there's an alternate one. I think it's the Earthbound Immortal. That one's trash. I feel like there's really only like 3 or 4 that you really can theoretically play, maybe 5 if you count Snow Owl, but that's these 2. I just want to talk about these for a split second again. These 2, in my opinion, are better than Alpha and Zeta in Drytron, and that sounds really, really wild, but the other names aren't as good as the other names in Drytron, but with these 2, they're so powerful and they chain block so well, and Alpha and Zeta can't actually chain block you like that, if you know what I mean. Like, you just have to pretty much deal with what's out on the board, where these 2, if you got map, or these 2 are in some kind of tandem in some kind of way, then one of them is going to resolve and the other one will be fine, and it's just something to think about, guys. You guys know about those. Double Toucan. Obviously, a lot of people never really realized that Toucan is a full combo if you have the map. Now, yes, if you activate him and you only have one Floowandereeze card, and that probably, let's say, Rabina, you can only, you can't actually normal if you activate this and then chain that same Floowandereeze that you're targeting. But sometimes I do that anyway if I have the map, because I want to ensure that I get that card back to my hand regardless. Don't always do that, but sometimes in a small niche situation that can kind of come up. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, just ask me down in the comments. 2, Street. This is the one that I feel like is like just bad, even in unison with some other cards, but it's really, really amazing in niche situations. Like if you have another shifter in hand and you open up double shifter in this card, then you can just keep your opponent under shifter for a long period of time. And then obviously answering cards like Eldritch, answering cards like Ray in the Grave, so on and so forth. This card can get really, really powerful in certain situations. But for the most part, sometimes I want to cut it down to 1. As far as the tributes, I'm only playing 3 right now, but I completely understand playing more than that. Obviously with Impin, I feel like you could play multiples. I feel like the 4th could be Snow Owl. I feel like you don't need a 4th as well. I feel like the theory would just fine with these, but the longer game gets weaker. With multiple Mega Rises, it got kind of clunky when I tried it out. With multiple Apex Avians, it's just not that great. I do want to make the 4th tribute the Samorg tribute, but it remains to be seen. I do feel like just if you want to have something smooth and you want to play 4 tributes, just play the second Impin, because it's the best option and it's consistency. And it gets more cards and it's just more oppression for your opponent, and it's the most oppressive boss monster in the game right now. Very similar to Masterpiece in its day. And then last but not least, for the Wing Beast, I'm playing Barrier Statue, because you have to play Barrier Statue right now. I'm not playing Dogmatica right now at all. I'm kind of just moving away from it because I feel like it's going to get hit anyway. Shifter is Shifter, and I feel like Shifter's not quite lethal enough to get hit, but it's really, really powerful, really, really oppressive, and really pisses your opponents off, because just completely macrocosming their turn away is really, really powerful. And I don't know, guys. I mean, macro did get hit, so I feel like at some point this card might get hit. That's just my prognostication. As far as that's all for the monsters. As far as the spells, I played 3 of Magnificent Map. And in my opinion, Magnificent Map is one of the most amazing cards in this deck, and also one of the most amazing field spell cards that doesn't really get its just due. Obviously, with chain blocking being the entire archetype, this archetype leans heavily on this field spell, even more so than other decks, and that's why I'm playing a specific tech that I already made a video on and already put in another profile. But I just wanted to mention in case people haven't seen it before, and sometimes people just don't see certain videos. But Magnificent Map is a beautiful card that enables chain blocking. Obviously, 3 Pot of Prosperity, don't need to talk about that because consistency. Duality, because consistency, obviously. It's where the fun starts to come into the deck for me. I'm playing one, but I've tested a different list that a European friend of mine sent to me where I'm playing 3 of this and 3 of the trap, 2 of this and 2 of the trap, and another list. I really understand what those deck lists are going for, but in this one, I just wanted to keep it smooth, and because I like the other cards so much, it's hard for me to find the space to play more than one, but this card is really, really nuts. It's the Tribute, it's the Stormforth of the deck, and then obviously it's a Cosmotown as well. Terraforming, obviously for consistency again, and the other consistency card that not that many people are playing, Set Rotation. Obviously, if you have Toucan, I already talked about it, but in case you don't know what the hell I was talking about with Toucan, and more copies of the field, that means when you activate map, you're gonna get more copies of a banished Floowandereeze card, and that makes Toucan more live more often. So in my opinion, instead of playing like more of this or more of a certain card or more of a certain answer, I just wanna play the deck more often. And it's just like Drytron, I feel like getting to that point of playing more often is just really, really, really key. And I hope that makes sense, because I'm saying that as fast as possible. Obviously you got Gold Sark, this is probably the easiest card to cut when Journey comes out. Feather Duster is another card that I really, really like in the main deck because it's horrible in the side deck, but for the main deck, it serves a purpose of if you're playing against a back row deck at your locals, it's just good to have it in the game one. And it's an old school video game one, so I like playing it in my main deck anyway. Obviously, with Elborus being my field spell, there are other alternatives. Seal of Orichalcos is a solid card you can choose as well. Closed Forest. If you really want to lock out your locals from being able to play their field spell, maybe you have a locals where everybody's playing Alistair, giving them Closed Forest is really, really powerful. Seal of Orichalcos is just a blank in case you wanted to be able to punch over stuff. It gives you the 500 boost. And you don't care about the special summoning restriction, but this is the best one just for tying into the specifics of the deck. Now, obviously, the top effect says you can reveal 1 level 5 or higher winged beast monster in your hand, and this turn you can normal summon a winged beast from your hand. This turn, I believe that it takes 1 less tribute instead of 2. So if you have like Mega Riser or something like that, not that that's gonna come up, or Apex, whatever. And then the second effect, obviously, is pretty much the same thing, where after this you can just normal summon the winged beast monster. Really, really key card that I feel like is actually not a brick in the deck, and that's why I'm playing that one. Called by the Grave, to answer more hand traps, 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 because I feel like you can't answer them enough. And then it's just a good card to have as well, just in general, because it's also defensive, as Book of Moon has always been in the entirety of the game's history. It's always been that kind of card, and that's why I was limited to 1 for so long. Dark Ruler No More is what I'm playing. These can be hand traps that I feel like a lot of the times I don't like going like trading off with decks that are just better than Floowandereeze. I feel like Floowandereeze is the weakest meta deck. That's just my assessment of the deck. And I feel like it's only gonna get better. And I just feel like with all the stuff that exists in Wombo combo decks, I just want to Dark Ruler people. I'd rather deal with the back row and try to fight through it and just Dark Ruler the combo deck. So that's why I'm playing that. But if you struggle with the back row decks at your locals, then play the back row removal. Like this could be Cyclone and this could be in the side. You have to take time and mess around with it, and that can also be a hand trap. And I'm playing 1 of the trap in this version of the deck, but I do completely understand other theories on the deck, and I'm kind of working on them online. The extra deck is completely irrelevant, and I'm just gonna like fan it like this. A lot of times at locals, I'm just like flexing like cool stuff that I have in my extra deck, really. And then obviously, I don't know, man. You know, I feel like I love multi-construct, so shout out to that. And then obviously with some stuff, it may come up, maybe Titaniclad or something. I'm actually missing a card for some reason, but Titaniclad can maybe come up in some situations if you're playing the Dogmatica stuff and you want to get back to Servant, but I feel like it's getting hit, so I wanted to stop playing it. And obviously, if your opponent does anything to you, you got stuff like Omega. If you're playing the multiple in pin, which I go back and forth, which is why these just sit there, because if it ever comes up, this is nice to have in your extra deck. It's nice to have Zeus in your extra deck, and then it's nice to have some Wing Beast stuff in your extra deck in case Maximus gets summoned in some kind of way. that's all for that. And then last but not least, getting the side. This is just how my side is like perfected to what my locals is, and I'm gonna be changing it because the meta's gonna change. And it's gonna change really, really soon because the ban list is coming out really, really soon. One Sphere Mode and Imperial. This card's getting banned, so you know, happy trails of that. I also believe this could be Reboot, but this card's too unfair to not play at all. And I feel like Reboot fits in this deck in a weird way because of Mega Rise, and you can stack traps on your opponent, and I find that hilarious. And then Sphere Mode to answer more combo decks, and you know, like Drytron and stuff like that. Evenly matched, you guys know all about that. It's kind of self-explanatory how lethal it is. Triple Cyclone for the back row decks, you gotta have the chainable spells, the chainable back row removal. Featherstorm is just the silliest card in the world that might also get hit, but if it doesn't get hit, then this deck is literally just gonna sit at the top of the meta or somewhere at the top because Journey's coming out. And it's just 3 more elite cards to help you play through what your opponent does, and that card can just wipe your opponent out playing completely. And then last but not least, I'm playing these 4, double trap trigger, double dimensional barrier. I've also had this be a pointer of the Red Lotus in the past, but for right now, dimensional barrier is just a little bit better because Despy is coming out, the Albaz stuff, all that stuff. Like there's so many decks, Drytron, stunning them with that. And then just having the trap tricks being either this or this is just really, really powerful. And I appreciate you guys for tuning in. And I'm out. Birds are chirping. On bended knee, you will bow before Emperor Penguin. I'll see you next time, guys. I'm out. YG, baby.